One of the most common traits of the nice guy is to be the people pleaser. You're always putting other people's needs above yours. You're always trying to keep everyone else happy. You're avoiding conflict. You're deferring decisions because in your mind, if you keep everyone else happy and you just push your desires, your truth, and your needs down, then they will be happy, which means you can feel worthy, you can feel good enough, and you can feel valuable as a man. Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tom Hobbs and I help take the insecure nice guy into the man that his family and future can depend on. And in this video, I really want to unpack the people-pleasing aspect of the nice guy. Now, a few videos ago, I really dove into the nice guy identity as a whole. Some of that I'm going to repeat in here, but if you haven't watched that, I would highly recommend it. Because what we find in the nice guy, and this is something that is incredibly common in men these days, and for some context, this was me for the majority of my life. I struggled with body dysmorphia, which led to insecurities and self-doubt and relationship issues and me not feeling good enough as a man, leadership, comparison, all, everything you can possibly think of, I struggled with, and so I became the nice guy. And now, before we dive into more the people-pleasing aspect, what we need to understand is that the nice guy is simply the nice guy because he feels like that is the only way that he is going to get his core human needs met. Because at the end of the day, every man just wants to feel worthy. They want to feel worthy of love. They want to be accepted. They want to be valuable. And they want to feel capable of being the man that can lead himself, lead his family, and ultimately create the life that he wants. But somewhere along the way, he learns that his true, authentic self, the man that he was at a core soul level, was not enough, right? He was either laughed at or mocked or judged or abandoned or shamed, or he had something happen that led him to believe that who he was not enough. For me, it was some bullying that I got in primary school for my body, right? As a man, I have gynecomastia, so I got a bit of extra fat around my chest. So when I was in grade 6, I was 11 or 12 at the time, I was shirtless, at swimming lessons, which we did back then. And again, I didn't think anything of it, but I had some kids pick on me because my chest looked different. And so I won't go into the whole story, but in that moment, I learned consciously and unconsciously that me just being my true self was not enough, right? Because I was laughed at, I was mocked, and there was pain associated with that. And so from then on, I would hide my true self away and quite literally hide my body away because I didn't want people to see my chest because I knew that that was weird or whatever it was. And so from that moment, I created this story that who I was deep down was not enough. And so I had to protect myself. So I became the nice guy, right? I didn't feel confident and convicted in who I was. And so I needed to wear a mask. I needed to hide certain parts of me. I needed to show up a certain way and speak a certain way and wear certain clothes to hide my body, right? When that then trickled into relationships later on, I wouldn't want to make decisions. I would not be the leader. I would certainly not be the masculine presence in the relationship. And I had all these insecurities again, because deep down I thought I wasn't good enough. And so I had to put on this mask and be someone else in order for her to like me. Because if I was my true self, like I was back in primary school, that wouldn't be enough for her. She wouldn't be attracted to me. She might laugh at me. She might judge me. And ultimately, she might leave me, right? These are all painful things that we are trying to avoid. And as men, as I said, we want to feel worthy. We want to feel valuable. We want to feel loved, right? So this is just a protection mechanism that you have deployed, that you have used, right? It's serving you a purpose. So that's all this nice guy really is. And so he becomes a people pleaser because, again, this is a way for you to get these needs met. You feel good enough when your partner compliments you because you put your stuff to the side and you only ever focus on her, right? You avoid conflict because if you guys have an argument, again, what might that trigger in her? What might she think of you? And could that mean she might leave you, right? Could she go and start talking to someone else? And so you install these protection mechanisms, the mask, the people pleasing, the pushing your truth and your desires down. You don't stand up for yourself. You don't lead in the simple things like making a decision on where you're going to go for dinner simply because, what if I choose wrong and she doesn't like the food and then it's my fault and then she might be angry at me and then she might leave me and then I won't be good enough. Bang. There's that story. There's that not good enough story that we're trying to protect ourselves from in the first place. So for the nice guy, what often happens in this is he sees all of these symptoms. And this was me too, right? I had the relationship side of things. I had the body image side of things. I had my purpose and life direction, right? I've dropped out of uni 3 times. I've tried so many different paths in life until I'm, am where I am now. And I had all these different issues in my external world, all these symptoms, right? But none of these things ever worked, right? I never felt confident in my body. I never liked how I looked in clothes. I never felt happy in the mirror. Obviously, I had a lot of failed relationships. It's not a blame game, but most of which, really looking back on it, came down to my lack of masculinity, my lack of leadership, my self-doubt and who I was, that then created a certain dynamic in the relationship. Right? In my purpose, in my career, I would just not back myself. I would not take risks. I'd be scared of failure, because again, if I fail, I'm not good enough, right? What are other people going to think of me? It all has the same origin. And so ultimately, in order to overcome this, for me to overcome my body dysmorphia, for example, I needed to get into better shape. I needed to love the body that I saw. But what allowed me to actually be consistent and motivated and recognize that was to dissolve this not good enough story. And it's the same in our relationships. Just jumping to another relationship isn't really going to fix anything. Ultimately, you need a partner and a woman that's going to help you through this, because that's part of the healing process, so to speak. But I needed to come into my next relationship as a strong man, confident man, convicted man. I needed to be able to validate my own worth and know that I was enough without needing her to give that to me. Right? And you can probably start to see why we feel the need to people please. And then when we try to fix that again, you're probably looking to these external things, to the person, to the training program, to the body, to the next course or the next business idea or whatever else, and nothing ever sticks. Because the very origin that you are trying to do these things is from a place of lack, from a place of I am not enough, I am not worthy, I am not capable. And so you simply do the things and you manipulate your world and you manipulate people, not necessarily in a malicious way, right? You probably don't even realize you're doing it. But by the fact that you wear this mask and you show up differently and you people please, you're actually controlling how they see you. You're not letting them see the real you again, because there's pain associated with that. And so, brother, there's nothing wrong with you, right? It's all good. It's not even necessarily your fault, because chances are this might be the first time you've had this explained to you. But I promise you, we could have a 5-minute conversation, a 10-minute conversation. You could tell me all of the issues you're struggling: body, relationships, purpose, masculinity, leadership, all these different things. And I can almost bet my bottom dollar on it that they will all trace back to some level of I am not enough, I am not worthy, I am not capable, that you have picked up and been conditioned into believing at some point in your life. Right? And so in order to actually get out of this, we need to address the root. We need to do the work around this not good enough story. That is your driving force. Like a computer has an operating system. This is your operating system, and this is actually what is controlling the lens in which you see your world through. And it's the beacon, it's the magnet that you are putting out that is going to attract things to simply confirm that you are not good enough. Right? That is how this works. And the reason it doesn't feel good is because it's based off of a lie. That's not who God put you here to be. That's not the image in which He made you. He made you perfect to Him. He made you good enough. Right? These are stories we pick up from the world. They're not from God. And so if they're from the world, they've never been ours to hold, but we continue to hold them, and we continue to create evidence that we then look back on and be like, oh, see, told you this was who I was. Told you I'm not good enough. Told you people leave me. Told you my body's not good enough. See, another failed business idea, right? I'm not enough. Continuing to confirm this, and the only respite we get where we allow ourselves to feel worthy and valued and whatever else is when other people give it to us. When we step into the people pleaser and we become the Mr. Fix-It when she's having a bad day, and we fix things and now she's over the moon and loves us and whatever else, and now we feel good, right? Our mood is dictated to by hers, which feels great in the moment, but when you think about it, I don't want to be reliant on someone else for how I feel about myself. I don't want to be stepping on eggshells and not saying my truths and what I want and my desires and being able to lead without fear just because it appeases someone else. There's a way you can do this. You can still be kind and be a nice guy and put her needs first, right? That's, as a man, we do that, but there needs to be a balance, right? Because you need to come first at times, and it's not selfish, because you quickly start to understand as you start to dive into this work, which is the work I do in the Proving Ground, which I'll speak on at the end. You start to realize how important it is for your future partner, your future kids, or if you've got them now, your body, your health, your business, whatever you're doing, why God has you here, there needs to be a point where you get a little bit selfish and you go on this journey to change this story and change your identity so you can let go of the nice guy. Because that future you want cannot exist at the same time as the nice guy. Because the nice guy, deep down, does not believe he is enough. And if he does not believe he is enough, you tell me how you're going to create that future and actually keep it and actually feel secure and confident in it. Right, brother, you're just not the man who can create that just yet. And that's not a capability issue. It's you're just believing these lies about yourself that you don't actually need to hold. And so when we can heal this story and we then go out and build evidence, right? Because once you've shifted the story, we don't just want to talk about it. Right? I know society wants men to just be vulnerable and that's going to fix everything. But once we've done the deep inner work, sweet, now let's go out and execute. Becoming an absolute savage at disproving these old belief systems. Go and get into the best shape of your life. Right? Keep doing the mindset work. Keep doing the inner work. Really, really connect to God and understand your worth as a man. Right? Get clear on your purpose. Why does God have you here? What is your gift? What does the world need from you? How do you want to show up for your kids or your future kids? What will make you into a role model that you are actually proud of, that you want to pass on to your kids? Right? Who do you need to be to attract in your dream woman? What does that business look like? How much money do you want to make? Right? These are the things we need to go out and then build and execute on. But we want to make sure the origin of that tree that we are trying to grow is from good enough instead of not good enough. If the story remains I'm not good enough and we don't change that and we stay in the nice guy, all the branches, all the fruit, all the leaves are going to reflect the very seed in which was planted. So brother, you've reached the end of this video. I applaud you for getting this far. This is a moment where you can draw a line in the sand and you can decide, am I going to keep being the nice guy, the people pleaser, the insecure guy, the one that doubts himself, the one that puts everyone else's needs above his because it makes you feel valid and worthy? If you're going to keep doing that, I wouldn't expect the future that you ultimately want. But if you want to draw that line in the sand and become this man that your family and future can depend on, this is the work you need to do. Right? This is the work I do. This is the work I've done on myself. I've just dropped a new post on Instagram, pinned up the top with my story and the details of my whole journey. Right? I've been the nice guy, people pleaser, insecure, body image, body dysmorphia, right? Failed relationships. Everything that I've spoken about is from past experience. And I've now gotten to a place where I've added my own development and education and whatnot in my mentoring space for the last 10 years where I can now help you through these exact things. All right, brothers, as I said, you're not broken. It's not a character flaw. There's just some work you need to do. It's all good. This is the beauty of being human, right? It's the beauty of being a man. This is the journey to become that beautiful, strong, grounded, masculine man who can be a role model for his family, right? The husband his wife deserves, and ultimately live the life that you want to live. So if you'd like to have a discussion, feel free to DM me on Instagram, or down below there is a link to the Proving Ground, which is my upcoming group mentorship. There's also an option for those of you that want to work with me one-on-one. Click that link, have a read. The first intake starts on June 29, right? And the very first cohort, because this is a new iteration of my mentoring, the first cohort that I'm running, the one on June 29, is at a huge discount, right? $999 USD as opposed to $2,999 USD. So if this appeals to you, again, you know this is work you need to do and you want to be surrounded by other men who are on this same path, hit that link, have a read, and if it feels right, again, we can have a chat about it. But either way, brother, I hope you found some value in this. If you haven't watched some of my other videos, specifically the last two, right, I would recommend going back and watching those. Appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.